Okay, so I just wanted to show you a no bullshit guide on how you can create awesome vocals without having to buy anything. There's stock plugins for free, and there's other third-party plugins that are also for free, and there are not too many. So when I created this cover DAISIES, I wanted to adjust the settings to my voice. And before, I've had a bunch of plugins and so on that I learned from other YouTubers how to adjust and so on, but it became too much. I didn't quite understand myself what I did, so I thought, let's do things from the beginning and drag in what I think sounds quite nice and adjust things to my voice and simplify things. So let's jump in. Okay, so this is one take recording, this is vocals, and this is the electric guitar. We're going to focus on the vocals, and you can see there are no clear spike here. Everything is quite smooth, and I have not adjusted any volumes on any places here, and that's because I had some distance from the mic while recording, and I also didn't crank up the gain knob too much so it wouldn't distort and so on. So let's see what I've done here. I have the audio here, we can listen to it. Boy, you got me holding my hand. Think about you in my bed. Wherever yes, you know I can take it. Okay, so what I've done here is I have a EQ8 to get rid of the low end that I don't need and some of the high end that I don't need. And then I got the glue compressor just to crank up the volume so I can hear myself while recording. Then I got a free plugin, third party. These two are stock plugins, and this Fresh Air is a third party plugin. And I got these two, Fresh Air and Wider, from another YouTuber called Soul, X-O-L-E. He does tutorials and he creates his own music. He's very talented. Check him out. I will leave the video here or link below. I learned a ton from him. So let's check out Fresh Air. And this is from Slate Digital. And what this does is it clarifies the high frequencies, so it becomes less muddy and less boxy. And I cranked this up to around 30% just to not do anything too much. And then we got Wider. This widens the stereo image, so it becomes a little bit more fatter and more get more presence. So I will link these two below. And so there we got Wider, there we got Fresh Air, and then we got some reverb. This is garage reverb, because I think this song DAISIES kind of sound a little bit Nirvana-like and has that grungy style. So I wanted to have a smaller room, and I think the garage fits that style. So, and then we got a small delay and a de-esser to get rid of all the S and K sounds. And then we got a saturator to crank up the volume, make it a little bit more crisper but also closer. And lastly, we got another glue compressor just to smoothen things out a little bit more. So let's recreate this on another track. So we can just duplicate this, and then we get rid of this. And I will show you how to drag everything in and set everything up. So firstly, we will drag in the EQ8. You can't find EQ8 on Abletonlive Lite, but when you upgrade, you will be able to find it. So we have duplicated this, and then we're going to search here for EQ, and we drag in EQ8, and then we just, let's see here, we change this to a sharp curve and we drag that up to 80, and that's because if we play this track, it's so low now, so you barely hear anything. But if we drag this, you can see there are no frequencies down here. But 80 is quite good. And then we make a softer curve here. It doesn't really matter, just to get rid of some of the high end that we can't hear anyway. So that's done. And now we will crank up the volume a bit with the glue compressor. So let's drag that in. We just search here for glue. So like so, and we just make the threshold to -40, and we solo this. I will drag down the volume a bit because it can become quite high. So you can see this this pin here is jumping up quite high. So we will just drag this until it ends up below the 5. So 34 is good for me. And then we just crank up the volume. I will lower it a bit more. And crank it up to max if you need to. You should always watch this decibel meter here so it won't crack or be too much on the red. Okay, so I have set my attack here to 3, and you can play around with this and what sounds the best, but for me it's the 3. And next up we got the fresh air. So let's just find that one on the plugins. These two are audio effects. Now we go to plugins and we just search here for it's the Slate Digital and it's fresh air. And you can find tutorials on YouTube how you import plugins to your DAW. And then I click this middle one here and I drag this up to 30%. We don't want to do too much, but this will clarify things. So we can listen to this with and without. With, without. So it's quite muddy without. And then we want to widen things, so we just take the Polyverse music and wider, drag that in, and we want to drag it up to about 140. And then you can play around with this one. When I did it, I thought it sounded, when it was too low, it was too much far away, and when it was too high, it was too close. So I landed on around 800 Hertz. And you can play around what sounds the best for you. Okay, so that's done. And now we have some reverb, the garage reverb. So let's go to audio effects again and search for reverb and find garage. So there we go, and I cut the low end. I reflect to 4 because I think that sounds a bit more closer and warmer. And then we drag the knob here down to 35%. That's quite high, but it did quite good in this mix. So I will just check what I have more. Size 70. So it becomes a little bit fatter, but not too much. Or bigger. Decay 1.6. And pre-delay 1.5. And I just played around with these knobs and chose what sounded the best to my ears. So yeah, I think that's, we set the diffuse to 0 as well. So that's done. Now we're going to select the reverb or, delay. So let's just search delay. Oh, it's like so. Delay. And I think it's this one. Yep. And I've chosen to sync the 2 and then I did 10% and feedback 13%. And we have chosen fade. So again, just play around with this and find your style and what suits your voice, because your voice may not be. If we check the EQ8 here, you can see my vocals are around this area, but your vocals might be down here or more up here and peak on different places. So you gotta adjust to your voice. And now we can choose the de-esser, and I have chosen here split band de-esser. So let's drag that in. De-esser. And what this did was to get rid of the sharp S sound and K sounds. So let's just listen here. And we will drag this high one down so it barely touches the high frequency meter here. And we can look here what we have done on the last one. We match all three. So let's just listen to that one and drag that so it barely touches. Drag that one so that barely touches. So, and amount is max. And then we got our saturator. So let's just search for saturator. And we chose the a bit warmer, because that's what I was searching for. I wanted it to be a little bit more close, and Ableton had that built in already. So and then we just drag this to 69% and max out, and the drive we chose was 4. So let's just search for glue and drag in the glue compressor, and let's see here if we listen. And we want this pin here, we want the pin to move and not above the 5. So let's see. So around 10 decibel, minus 10 decibel. And then with the makeup knob we can crank up the volume even more if we want to. So that's it, we're kind of done here. But what you can do if you want to save this is that you can group all this to one single unity and or unit and save it. So if we take this EQ8 here, we can just right click and then select group, and then we just drag everything in here. Let's see. The delay, the de-esser, a bit warmer, that's the saturator, and lastly the compressor. And now we can just push this little button here and save it, and then right click on this one. Let's see, right click and rename. So let's see, tutorial vocal settings or vocal effects. So there we have it. Feel free to check out my latest cover of DAISIES by Justin Bieber, and I see you.